Ball in the left half. Fakes the handoff to Blackman. Hails to the air again. Has a man. Cedric Battle caught. Touchdown Central Arkansas. Fingertip grab by Cedric Battle, the senior. After the other senior makes the grab to set it up. And a great throw there by Hales right over the defender. Nobody near him. Touchdown.
And we welcome you into Pizza Ranch in Conway. The Bear faithful are here. The head coach and his son Luke sitting right next to him. And Chris Kane in for Justin Acre tonight as he has got basketball duties. Glad to be alongside you. Coach, thank you so much for joining us again in the final, I believe, Coach's show of the year from what I understand. So I'm glad I get to end it off with you here. But we still got one game to go and a chance to end off on a really high note at Abilene, about 7.5 hours away from where we're comfortably sitting inside on this rainy night. First, welcome in, and how was your day off yesterday?
It was good. It was good. We got in and got to work, put the last game to bed as a coaching staff and as a team, and we had a good night of work. Our guys came in. We had a team meeting and watched the film and had an opportunity to get a workout in, and I think we're in a good place right now.
Yeah, good place to end the season on a high note after last week's game. And really, if you look at the last couple of games, Coach, you got two upstart teams, and both Cardinals, coincidentally enough, coming here to the Stripes in just a complete opposite image of what we've seen from the last two programs in Lamar and Incarnate Word this week. And an Incarnate Word team last year that only won one game, a complete turnaround, a new coaching staff. And let me just go ahead just to give you an idea of how upside down the Southland Conference is this season. This was the preseason prediction poll that the media does. What do those guys know, right? It was Sam, Nichols, Central Arkansas, you guys were third, McNeese, Southeastern Louisiana, Stephen F. Austin, Abilene Christian, Northwestern State, Incarnate Word at number 9, then Lamar at number 10, and Houston Baptist at number 11. Current standings, Incarnate Word tied for first. I think we should maybe retire the media poll after that.
Well, and again, that's why you always talk about preseason polls mean nothing. I mean, again, the excitement when you start a season for every program, not only in the country but in the Southland Conference, is always high expectations, and those coaching staffs have done a phenomenal job. Coach Morris, he's got a great pedigree and a background being, with his Texas Tech background with Coach Kingsbury, and he's done a phenomenal job at Incarnate Word. I mean, they've got a senior laden team, and that team had a lot of troubles and tough years the last couple of years, and he turned that program around and has done a phenomenal job. And we talked about it as a team, how humbling this sport can be, and it's just crazy how things work. A year ago this time we were celebrating a conference championship on their home field.
How about that? It's almost eerie the way it worked out on Saturday, right? A
year later they're kind of doing the same thing on ours, and so that's just a testament to that program. But also just it shows you that you always got to be ready. You always got to be ready, no matter who's coming to play you or what the tradition of the program you're playing is. You've got to put your your buckles on and put your shoulder pads on and go play a good football game to beat these teams.
The football gods can be cruel, but they can also be fair, because next year you guys end your season at Incarnate Word, and how perfect it would be if you got the Southland Conference trophy back on their home field down in San Antonio, Texas. We'll have to wait on that one, but I'm looking forward to it. Let's talk about the positives from last week. One of the things you talked about in the coaches show last week with Justin was you wanted to get to a fast start. You felt like you guys were a little slow out of the gates the last few games, and this past week you guys did get to a fast start, up 14-3.
Yeah, well, I thought our defense set the tone early and made some stops, and then offensively we were able to convert some drives into touchdowns. We had some explosive plays. We were able to get Cedric Battle in the mix in a couple of drives early there in the late first quarter, early second quarter, and actually had a 14-3 lead, middle way through the second quarter. So, we were playing what we thought was going to be a pretty good tempo game, and a couple things didn't fall our way there late in the half, and we let them slip ahead of us there at the halftime, and I think that's what hurt us. We went into halftime down 3, and just weren't able to recover, and I think psychologically maybe the stuff, the demons creep in your heads, man, this happened again, last week or the week before. And, we've just got to guard against that. I've got to do a better job as a coach, at halftime or before a game, getting our guys, psychologically feeling great. This is our game. This is what we're about. But one thing you can say, this team, no matter what is thrown at them, the mistakes we make, whether it be mentally or physically or whatever it may be, we've somehow made every game we played in a 4-quarter game. And the other night we had an opportunity. You take away a penalty or two, they're early in the fourth quarter, and we make it a one-possession game. So, our guys showed a ton of fight and grit, and that's a testament to those guys, those 17 seniors leading the way Saturday, and then just our guys' determination. We've got to clean up some things. We're continuing to do that, as a program, but man, you can't coach effort, and that's one thing our guys have is great effort. One
of the things that I noticed about this team that you guys faced this past weekend was the aggressiveness. They went for it on their own 35-yard line. I'm not saying that it was very Pulaski Academy-esque that we've seen here. Central Arkansas fans will know that, but it was certainly a surprise to us in the booth, and they were able to convert. But on the next play, it was almost like the ball doesn't lie. You guys are able to get an interception, Robert Rochelle, which set up a touchdown.
Well, and that's the thing is you look at a lot of the drives that have been successful on our defense this year. A lot of them are fourth down conversions. Our defense has done a phenomenal job, stopping teams and getting them in some situations in some tough spots. But we've had offenses that have had aggressive play calling against us, and not just Incarnate Word Saturday, but you look all the way back to even the first drive of the season that Tulsa had. They scored on us, but they had to convert a 4th and 3 on their own 35 to make it happen. So we've got to continue to play every down, every snap, and continue to play with an edge about us, no matter what the situation is. I think at times, we stopped them on 3rd down. Let's relax. Well, now we got to ratchet up even more on that 4th down situation, and that's a testament to their coaching staff. Coach Morris came to Conway to win, and he had that mentality and that attitude, and I think his players reflected that on Saturday.
Well, another game where you face a quarterback that you weren't expected to face at some point. Copeland started the game, played pretty well early on, then went down with an injury, and sure enough, you're faced with another quarterback you don't have a whole lot of film on. Brophy, I think, threw one pass against y'all last year in San Antonio. What's that like as a coaching staff when it happens all of a sudden and you don't really have that much time because you haven't seen much film on a kid like that?
Well, at the end of the day, there's no excuse. We need to stop who's got the ball in their hands, and it doesn't matter whether it's a backup quarterback, a third-string quarterback, or the starter. And we've been put in a situation this year on defense where we have faced probably 5 or 6 backup quarterbacks.
Yeah,
it's just been a weird year. When you look at the league as a whole, there's a lot of instability at the quarterback position this year, whether it be injury, whether it be a position battle. But for whatever reason, we've ended up with playing the backup quarterback 5 or 6 straight weeks in some form or fashion. So that's something we got to work on. If you don't have film on a guy, you don't exactly know what they're capable of doing. But that doesn't matter. We've got to stop them in the end and give ourselves a position to win.
Double move here down the sideline, and the Bears get there at the same time. Intercepted at the 45. Going the other way, it's Rochelle at the 40, 35, and he's down at the 31-yard line of Incarnate Word. It was a jump ball 50-50, and Rochelle came up with it. Cedric Battle and Carlos Blackman, one to each side. Play action. Hales has time. Down the sideline. Cedric Battle at the 10. Cuts it back at the 5. Touchdown Central Arkansas. 2 for the senior today. Cedric Battle with 2 scores on senior day here in Conway.
That was Justin Akery on the call. What a great sequence. You get the Rochelle interception. That was after the 4th down play. Yeah. By the way, they convert on their own 35. And then right after that, I know you guys, Nathan, I know you love to go big ball after a turnover because it really puts the defense on their heels. And another wheel route to Cedric. Was it just his kind of day where his number was called? He was getting those kind of looks?
Yeah, they gave us an opportunity to get some guys out of the backfield, and Cedric's got just an unbelievable ability to catch the football and track the football and runs good routes. And and what Incarnate Word did on defense kind of allowed us to do that. And it was good to see him get in the end zone a couple times. Hopefully he'll have a chance to do that again this week.
Finished with 2 receptions for 64 yards, each touchdown of 32 yards. But it was set up by the defense. Got to give those guys credit.
No question.
And we have one of those defenders joining us right now, a senior on this squad, Marseth Andry. Marseth, first welcome. I know it's your first coach's show, right?
Right.
Give him a round of applause. First time here at the Coaches Show, a senior who has done so much for this program. And, Marseth, I know that there's a lot you can look back on, be proud of in your time here at Central Arkansas. What moment stands out that you'll always remember and take with you?
Well, we had plenty of success my first couple years here. And honestly, the relationships and the bonds that I made this losing season, may leave a mark with me for the rest of my life.
Really? See, a lot of players would mention, hoisting the trophy, a championship season, but it's the bonds you get. out of this that is something you'll take forever? Who are some of the guys you've become closest to on the team?
Well, coming here a few years back, I made close friends. I'm still to this day best friends with Chiefs return to Tremont Smith.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Eric Jackson and Juan Jackson, and one of our grad assistants, Jacob Sis. So that's just my close brothers that I keep around. But all these guys just leave a mark on me and rub off on me in a good way.
So I know you're from New Orleans. I'm assuming a Saints fan, correct?
Oh, yeah.
No doubt. Now, let me ask you this, because this is a very real possibility.
All right.
If your Saints are playing one of your best friends and brothers, Trey Smith, in the Super Bowl, you're going to be pulling for your – how tough is that going to be?
Well, I had this conversation with him.
You did already. Hey, it's very likely.
He said they're going to the Super Bowl. I said, we'll meet you there, baby. We'll meet you there. And I'll tell the same thing to any one of my former teammates.
Doesn't matter where they play.
Fournette, Saints play you getting stopped in the backfield.
Did you play with Leonard?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. See, he's on the team that I root for in Jacksonville. You know, Nathan's former team, by the way.
Right,
yes,
right.
Jacksonville Jaguars. So Leonard's a guy that you're still close with?
Yeah. We catch up every now and then. I haven't spoken to him in a while, but he was nursing that hamstring injury.
I'm very aware.
So,
I'm just glad that he's back. Yeah, scored 2 touchdowns for us this past weekend.
Right.
Let's talk about New Orleans. You know, coming up to Central Arkansas, what brought you up? You know, what was that recruitment process like? And looking back, does it just feel like a whirlwind being that long ago at this point?
Looking back, I remember my recruiting coach. He came and recruited me, and I had a few schools in the conference that was already looking at me, Southeastern and Nichols. But I just had a gut feeling to just go visit at UCA. So I came out here, and the biggest thing to me was the weather. I like the grass turning brown and seeing snow and stuff like that.
You want humidity to go away eventually?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
So I sat down with my parents in the hotel, and I was like, man, I'm coming here.
And that was it.
Right. That was it. It was a good feeling for everybody.
Best decision of his life.
That's exactly right. You've appeared a lot of games in your career here at Central Arkansas. You've been to a lot of different places too. What's the toughest environment that you've been in that stands out?
The toughest environment had to be 2 years ago, conference championship versus Sam Houston.
Okay.
That was a pretty rough crowd, and but I always remember the Oklahoma State crowd.
Okay.
That was a big showcase because it was a close game.
Yeah.
Up until they pulled away, but that was great stuff just to see that environment, see all those fans, something that you don't see every day at UCA.
Getting guys like Marseth up from Louisiana, I know it's a big staple and a focal point for the program. How many times do you guys look to players like Marseth, or how often do you say, hey, what's St. Augustine doing? Who do I need to look at down there? I'm sure they're great references.
No question. They keep up with their high schools and their regions and their areas, and that's obviously a big footprint of ours, Louisiana, and the South, really the southern part of the United States. So, I mean, getting guys like him in all parts of the Southeast is huge because – it just extends our footprint. We can't get every player we sign from the state of Arkansas. We've got to extend our where we go in our boundaries. So guys like Marseth and him leaving a legacy and what he's done is huge for us. And he's made a name for UCA down in New Orleans. All
right, so Marseth, we'll do a little superlative game because I know that the D-line group, you guys are pretty tight knit. You have a lot of fun. You get to celebrate a lot together, especially when someone gets a big sack or a fumble. So who's the funniest in the group?
The funniest? Oh man. That's outright me.
That's you. All right. That's good. That's good.
Get that credit.
You can be the king of all these superlatives. Who's the strongest?
Eric Jackson. By far.
Is he really? Yeah. Okay. He's not going to take that one.
Ejack's strong.
He's a freak.
Who's the strongest guy on the team? I've heard rumors about some players. Is he really?
Yeah.
It's not Carlos. I heard Carlos.
Carlos can deadlift a house in the street.
I've heard he could.
Like a D lineman. Right.
Okay. All right. And who's most likely to be a coach in that group?
Shoot, I look to a bunch of guys that has great minds. Myself and Eric, me and Eric and Cardell Best.
Finally, what's next for you? Graduating senior. What are you going to do next?
Man, I'm not leaving this game. I hope to stay close by and continue my coaching career.
All right. Marseth Andry from New Orleans, Louisiana. We didn't have enough time to get his restaurant guide, but I'm going to make sure I get that in the break because if there's anything, I want to know the restaurants that no one will find in a tourist guide going down to New Orleans. Thank you so much for joining us, and looking forward to calling your final game as a Bear this coming Saturday. That is Marseth Andry, everybody, from St. Augustine in New Orleans, Louisiana. We'll come back. More of the Nathan Brown Show in Pizza Ranch in Conway coming up next.
Great pickup on the block. Pass into the end zone. Touchdown, Central Arkansas. And how about Carlos Blackman picked up an unaccounted for rusher, and that gave Luke Hales just enough time to fire one into the end zone for the touchdown to the other senior, Dwayne Smith.
All right, welcome back into the Nathan Brown Show at Pizza Ranch in Conway, just off Dave Ward and I-40. Big thanks to Patrick and Jennifer. This is the final show of the year, and we are pumped to have the Bear faithful, of course, Coach Brown, and our next guest joining us, sophomore tight end Jack Short from Bentonville, Arkansas. His first time on the show. Jack, welcome.
Yeah, it's great being here.
Hey, man, we're excited to have you here. You are one of, I believe, you're one of, I think, 30-plus kids from Arkansas. It's the most of any state that is representing the Bears. I know that's got to be cool, seeing a lot of your in-state guys on your team, but at the same time, I'm sure there are some good high school stories and rivalries. You're from Bentonville, down here in Central Arkansas. Mm-hmm. You're kind of one of those guys that I'm sure a lot of guys go, oh, yeah, Bentonville, huh?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. When you win that much, I think you get that kind of stigma, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
How many state titles did you win?
I won one state title, but I had the opportunity to play in the playoffs for 2 more. So we know how to win up there, and it's a lot of fun, I'll tell you that.
Coach, between Jack and you've got Luke from Greenwood, yep. There's a lot of high school football accolades and trophies stacked up in that locker room from the state of Arkansas between guys like that. And I know you have a few more on the team as well.
Yeah, and that's one thing we focused on and have done a good job the last couple of years is recruiting guys from winning programs. And when you've got guys that expect to win, that's what they've done their whole life, usually they're going to come into your program and they're going to expect the same thing. And I'm not saying we won't go recruit a great football player from a program that maybe hasn't won state titles or hasn't won as many games, but we try to get as many solid football players from solid programs that have been well coached and play into November and December, and you make a team of that, and then you bring those other guys along. You've got something. You've put together a recipe for success.
Yeah, the expectation is certainly high in a place like Bentonville, Arkansas. Yeah. So bringing those expectations to Conway is no problem. Mm-hmm. This Bear offense requires the tight ends to do quite a bit. I think you're in motion all the time. Oh, yeah. I think you're in motion over there. You're in motion out there. Almost every play, right, Jack?
Oh, yes, sir. We like to put the tight ends in motion, change it up for the defense, and really like to show different looks, different formations. So, yeah. Yeah,
and you figure out where they're playing man or zone and going from either side. And sometimes they'll send you a motion back and forth. Coach, how do you guys like to utilize the tight ends? Whenever you're recruiting a guy like Jack, what do you tell them about the offense and the position and how they're going to be used?
Well, here's the cool part about Jack and just his situation. Jack was an undersized offensive lineman, actually.
Wow.
And so when we recruited Jack, it was all off off of a potential. Can he potentially be a good tight end for us? Yeah, absolutely. And he came in last year as a true freshman and played 150 snaps for us, and this year obviously being a starter for us as a true sophomore. He's one of the best tight ends in the league. I mean, you haven't seen it as much, and we're going to continue to expand on it as we continue to grow in our offense. But he's got great hands, runs great routes. He's got a little bit of speed. But man, Jack was a great tackle for Bentonville, and so the blocking side of it comes natural to him, and that's the neat part about that is you're not having to teach a tight end how to block defensive ends, or block linebackers. He's already been doing that his whole life.
Yeah, you've been accustomed to it. So you've been blocking your whole life. Now you're asked to catch the ball a few times, and no bigger catch in your career. And if you weren't catching much in Bentonville, I assume that the game tying catch down at Sam Houston State has got to be one for your record books, Jack. What was that like?
Oh, it was awesome. Coming off the sideline, I think we came off of a timeout, and they called the play, and I just knew. I was like, as long as that ball gets in the air, I'm going to come down with it. And saw Kirk Ball. I mean, that was the first touchdown pass of his career, so that was really cool for me to catch that for him. But he saw that ball up in the air and came down with it. It was a surreal feeling, really tying up the game, sending it to overtime. It was an awesome feeling, but really glad to celebrate with my offensive line. They don't get too much say in it, but they block all they can, and just up to us to go make the play.
Pretty sure.
I wonder why he appreciates so much.
Right, yeah, I know. He's one of the guys who really understands them, and he's one that they probably let in their group, from time to time. Because offensive linemen, as you know, I mean, it's an exclusive club. Even among the starters, that's a tight, really tight group. Defensive linemen, you're rotating a lot, but offensive line, it is a group that is pretty exclusive. But I'm sure since you're a former O-lineman, they give you a little bit of you're allowed in the club at times, right? Yes.
Just at times. I try to get into the O-lineman dinners. But,
yes.
That's always a struggle to find your way into.
Yeah, they would love this kind of dinner because, like we said in the promo, the pizza never ends, and that would be perfect for them.
Right.
I'm pretty sure there was a guy draped on your back on that touchdown catch as well. So kudos to you. I think there might have been a flag thrown. Was there a flag thrown? Yes. Yeah, they were basically doing everything they could to make sure you didn't catch it, and you still came down with it. So congratulations on that touchdown grab. I know that was pretty special, your first of your career. So tell everybody, what do you like to do? As you're a sophomore, I know that football takes up a lot of time and a lot of effort. What do you do whenever you're not focused on football and not practicing and prepping for the next game?
I really love hanging out with my teammates. I mean, I'm super close with just about everyone on the team, so it's just like a matter of like who I'm going to hang out with today and just having fun with them. But outside of that, I got a skateboard that I love to ride around campus, and it's super fun. But
6'4" on a skateboard, that's a long way to the ground, Jack.
Right, but I've done it for a long part of my life, so I think I can. I don't go too hard and do nothing too extravagant. But
do you do it during the season? You can be honest here.
Just barely.
Just barely.
Maybe if I'm running, need a little bit faster time to class, then I'll hop on the skateboard and get there. But
it does help. You're right. It does help to get to class. Yes, but I'm sure Coach Brown would appreciate if you. Maybe, what do you think? Ride a bike? Any other transportation method you would prefer? So, not saying skateboarding's bad. It's just.
How about leaving his apartment about 3 minutes early?
There you go. Yes, there you go. You could do that.
For sure.
Jack, just please be careful on that thing. We need you. Okay, very much.
Yes, sir.
Well, I think that's great that you guys have such a great group. Who are some of the guys on the team that you've really bonded with in your time here?
Straight off the bat, Caleb Stokes, my roommate, is one of my best friends, and so is Justin Morris. We become really, really close, and we've been hanging out with Luke Hales a lot, and he's one of my really good friends, and it's fun to hang out with them. They're really good, genuine guys, and we enjoy just being around each other and having some fun.
Oh boy, Greenwood and Bentonville in the same room. That's a lot of football ego in one room right there, my friend.
Sir.
Yes, a lot of winning goes along with that. And from Bentonville, does your family get to come down to the games every weekend and watch you? Do they travel a lot?
Since my freshman year, I don't think my parents have missed a game, so they love to come and watch and support. They have a spot out there they like to tailgate, and my family is a huge support. And my brother is just graduated college and tries to make every single game, and always dressed up in his UCA gear. I don't think there's a bigger supporter out there. So.
You guys, of course, are about to end the season, but then after that, I know that you'll finish out classes and take a little break and get ready for the holidays. But coaches are going to be out recruiting, and while they're recruiting, some of the times the best recruiting assets that they have are the current players. What do you tell guys, maybe from your old school, guys that come in? What are some of the things you tell them about Central Arkansas whenever they're asking questions about it?
Oh, I just tell them it's a phenomenal place. Looking at a team aspect, it's straight family. Everyone's super close. Huge. Great bonds between everyone: coaches, players, trainers, everyone. And it's a great place. It might be. You don't think the biggest school in Arkansas, but it's a lot more than I guess some people would say. It's so much fun. Everyone in Conway's nice. Everyone's treats you like family. So it's a great place to be and a great place to play football at. So
must help you guys on the trail to have ambassadors like Jack.
Yeah, it's huge. Especially getting in-state guys and them having success. Keeping their name in the paper, and it helps. Especially getting guys from all corners of the state. Getting guys from there's nothing I like more than plucking guys from Northwest Arkansas. They play good football up there, but two, give them a little different flair of Arkansas when they come down this way. We like to bleed purple down here, and I know Jack's he's all in doing that as we speak.
Yes, sir.
So Jack, I've asked Marseth this. You've played a couple of years now. What are some of the what's the toughest environment you've played in so far? What's one that stands out to you?
Personally, the one that stands out for me was K-State my first year. That was my first college game, first time ever being in like a big atmosphere like that, and getting to play as a true freshman on that like type of environment, that was an incredible experience. But it was a tough game to play. I mean, running out onto the field and you hear, I mean, how 50,000+ people booing you.
Not used to that, right?
Right. Every big college football game I've been to, I mean, I've been cheering for the home team, but then we run out there and it's just boos, and it was a really cool experience though. It was awesome.
Yeah. Well, next year, I don't know how many are in Hawaii. I don't know how many go to those stadiums. How much are you looking forward to going out there as part of the schedule next year?
Oh, that's going to be awesome. That's one of the only places really in the states that I haven't been, so it's going to be awesome. One, to check that off, and playing at an environment like that. Not a lot of people get to do that, so I'm just going to cherish it with my teammates, have as much fun as possible, and hopefully come out with a win there. I mean, that's definitely the goal.
Before that, you got to go to Abilene, new stadium, I understand,
Right.
So that'll be interesting to see what that presents. Have you guys done any film work on them, Jack, yet? Have you looked ahead, or is that going to be a little later this week?
But we'll really hit it hard, I mean, especially tomorrow, but I mean, we polished up the last game that we had against Incarnate. But, I mean, it's just on us right now to, look at film, see what we want to see. And tomorrow we'll study it hard and really get into the film for them. And hopefully, I mean, we'll come up with a good game plan, and we'll be ready to win this ball game.
End the season on a high note. I know you guys want to do that
Sure.
for this senior group
No doubt.
that has done so much. And you being a sophomore, you got a lot of great football ahead of you. And I know that Coach Brown, the staff, is very excited about your group and what you have and what you will continue to do. And Coach, looking at what the tight ends have been able to do this year, I think the playbook, it kind of fluctuates from game to game. But it seems like guys like Jack and Josh and hey, Luke Ross has played a lot this year too. That's a group that has really rotated a lot, and it seems like you have a really good collection of tight ends, including Jack.
Yeah, it's huge, and they're coached by one of the best coaches I've ever been around, Coach Hollingsworth.
Yeah,
he's been doing
Hall of Famer.
Doing it for a long time. Just a wealth of football knowledge. They get to be around him every day, and just being around him pours football knowledge onto you. So he's been a good addition to this coaching staff, but for those guys and teaching them the ins and outs of not only blocking but playing the position, and that's definitely going to be an asset as we move forward.
Jack, what about Coach Hollingsworth have you liked the most this year? Because I know it's a different coach. It's his first year back here at UCA in a while. So what's that been like for you guys in the room?
My first big high school coach was Coach Lunny, and he's a legend in coaching. He does everything right. He's like, when I see a coach, I always see Coach Lunny. When Hollingsworth first, I first met him, I was like, dang, I got another Coach Lunny to coach me. I mean, a complete legend, and he's been part of the football game since for a long time, and all that knowledge, it really helps me as a player, grow as looking just past the tight end, seeing how the full play works, how everyone's job, everyone's seeing. He likes to coach that in a big aspect of how the whole offense should run, and what our job is with that. And he's just a phenomenal coach, and couldn't ask for a better tight ends coach.
All right, before I let you run, Jack, it's the start of hunting season in Arkansas.
Yes, sir.
And you're from Arkansas, so I got to ask you, are you an outdoorsman? Do you like to go hunting and fishing?
Yes, sir.
What's your game of choice?
We just moved out to 100 acres up in Gravette, Arkansas, and we have a bunch of deer out there. It snowed up there a little bit. We got about an inch, and my brother was sending me pictures from our deer cam, and there's bucks everywhere all around our land, so I can't wait to get back and do some deer hunting. That's going to be a lot of fun.
You've been deer hunting your whole life?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay.
I grew up in California, and even still then, my dad still tried to, get hunting in us and find places out there to go do outdoor stuff and go hunt, fish, and everything like that. So it's awesome.
That's a big outdoor state, but Arkansas really,
right.
I think, takes the cake, of course.
State,
yes, it does, absolutely. And I know that you guys have a big off season coming up, but you got one more game, so we can't wait to see how you guys finish against Abilene, a really improved team and one that will certainly present some challenges this weekend, but at the same time an opportunity, Coach, for you guys to pick up a big win, and we'll go over that preview in just a little bit. But I do want to give some quick numbers here from the last game. game. Luke Hales finished the game 59.4%. I know that's an improvement over his overall number. 3 touchdowns, 4 picks, 319 yards, and a couple of those interceptions. One went off a hand, another one was at the very end of the game. 3 sacks allowed. I know you guys have had a couple injuries to the O-line, even in the last game. Curtis went down a couple times. I hate that for him in his senior day. But a lot of rotations on that. I know that can cause some problems.
Yeah, we were playing some young guys up there. We played 3 freshmen, really 4 counting a redshirt freshman, and they're doing a great job. I mean, they're taking their lumps and they're getting better with every snap. But you're going to take some rookie mistakes in some situations. But I'll tell you what, the future's bright up there. They're going to be some really good football players when we push this thing forward.
Brophy going to throw for it here. Rusher comes late, hit him. He has a man at the 50, 45-40. Ball came out at the end. Bears are going to have a shot at it over there on the far sideline. They say they have it. And they do.
They do. Welcome back to Pizza Ranch, everybody. The Nathan Brown Show. We are in Conway off 955 Covington. Just Google Pizza Ranch, and it'll bring you right to it. They do takeout. You can come inside. They've got the buffet. They've got chicken. They've got pizza. Thanks to Patrick and Jennifer for providing this location for us all season long. Chris Kane in for Justin Acree tonight, who is doing the basketball game over at the Ferris Center. And, of course, alongside Coach here as we have a couple more segments to talk about the next opponent. And the next opponent is one of those that, just like the last 2 opponents you have played, one of the most improved teams in the league. It seems like it's the same script for the last 3 weeks now straight, because this team coach in Abilene Christian has won 4 straight games, and they're coming off a season where they only won 2.
They're the hottest team in the league right now. And that's funny.
How do you say that, right?
I said that 2 weeks ago with Lamar, and Incarnate Word obviously is really hot, but they are. I mean, they're a team that it's an amazing job what that coaching staff has done as well. They went on I think they started the season out 0-3 in the league, and then they come back and they figured out a way here at the end to win 4 straight, and they're sitting in a position that that probably a lot of people didn't think they would be. Now, they've got a great coaching staff. Coach Adam Durrell is one of the best coaches at any level. I mean, you see what success he had at Northwest Missouri, winning 3 national championships. He was an offensive coordinator for 2 more. I've gotten to know him a little bit, through this process, and man, he's been great to me. Just in our head coaches meetings, he's a phenomenal guy, nice guy, has a vision, and he's obviously implementing it in a positive way at Abilene. And they're going to be tough, and they're going to be tough for years to come. And they do a really good job. To be honest with you, they are a very similar program to what we are. Offense, defensively, and special teams. It's like looking at yourself in the mirror when you're watching film in a lot of ways.
Looking at what they've done this past year is impressive, but at the same time, you consider the fact that it was just such a turnaround so quick. Just like these other 2 teams, it's really rare you see that with a new coaching staff, even with those kind of accolades coming in like we did Northwest Missouri State. You guys shut them out last year on the Stripes, 34-0 at home, and that was the official lock of the Southland Conference title. You hoisted the trophy on the Stripes after that, capping off that undefeated Southland Conference season. A 78-yard touchdown to Brandon Cox in the first minute. You guys limited them to 172 yards of total offense for the game as they finished the year 2-9. Last week, they beat Sam Houston State 17-10 in Huntsville, which everybody knows in this league and around the country, that's a tough place to play. They've got 4 straight. They're 3-1 in a brand-new stadium. Did they have the old stadium whenever you were playing?
Yeah.
Back then, I mean, I remember from a few years ago.
Yeah, they played. To be honest with you, for as long as they've been a program, I believe they played in a city stadium.
Yeah.
Which, a couple high school teams played at as well. And that's where they played. And so this is one of the premier stadiums in this level of football. Brand new. It's beautiful. It doesn't seat 20,000, but it's an intimate. Probably 10,000, 12,000 seat stadium that is, right on top of you and just, brand new. And it's on campus, which is huge for their program. And I'm sure it's a great draw for their recruiting and all that sorts of things. So it'll be fun to go over there and see this new venue. It's always fun to play in new places. It's going to be a long road trip, probably our longest of the year. But it's something we're looking forward to. To be 100% honest with you, in the position we're in as a program this year, the way things have failed, I couldn't be more happy to be on the road with this group. Let's go on the road. All we have is each other. Let's lean on each other. Let's pull on the same end of the rope, and let's find a way. Let's find a way. When all the odds are stacked against you and everybody doesn't think you can do it, you're on a losing streak. Let's go have some fun, play backyard football, and go try to beat a good team.
Nothing better to break that losing streak and to send the seniors off. I know you guys want to send them off the right way. You know, in life you don't get a lot of chances to do a do-over, and you get your do-over. It might not be on the stripes, but a real, last game for these seniors on the road and send them off the right way. I know is something you guys really want to do for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's 17 guys that have poured their heart and soul into this program and have been a part of a lot of big wins, including this year.
Yeah.
It wasn't 4 weeks ago. We were sitting on top of the standings and feeling good about ourselves, and we've been humbled since then, and that's fine. That's part of this process, and we'll be better for it in the long run. But these 17 seniors deserve to go out winners. That's what they are. That's who they are. There's some good football players in this program that we're going to have to replace, and I look forward to those guys getting out there and getting one last shot at this, and it's going to be a fun night, and we're just going to let it loose and see what happens.
You've obviously faced adversity as a player when you're out there. You face adversity almost every single play when you got guys trying to come after you and knock you down to the ground. As an assistant, you face adversity in certain situations. Now, as a head coach in your first year, you obviously face some. What have you learned the most this year as you kind of look back on this and you got this final game ahead of you? What are some of the takeaways you've learned through the adversity that you faced?
Just get up and keep going. I mean, I learned that from Coach Campbell. We had a couple years there at the beginning of his tenure that we thought we could have been better. We were a 6-6 team his first year, and I remember just watching the way he responded and reacted to that situation. It was just going back to business as usual, always smiling, not letting things get to him. And guess what? The next year we were even better than the next 2 years. We were a playoff team and a conference championship team. So just go about it, smile. You're going to be fine. We're running a good program. We're doing things the right way. It's going to turn in our direction. I can promise you that.
The Bears are first and goal again at the 2 this time with 9:06 and counting. Hales in the pistol, shifts next to the right side of the formation, calls for it, hands it off. Blackman into the end zone. Carlos Blackman standing up. Touchdown, Central Arkansas.
Welcome back to Pizza Ranch in Conway, everybody, for the Nathan Brown Show. The highlight there, Carlos Blackman standing up, going into the end zone. I don't think Carlos likes standing up going into the end zone. He typically prefers some form of contact, typically likes it to be violent, and really aggressive at times, Coach. That was a rare thing to see him standing up, walking in the end zone. Might be his first time ever doing that, by the way.
He's usually looking for someone's arms to blow off or, just lower his shoulder. He's just got that innate ability to get low on people, even as big as he is.
He's a headhunter. I've heard some, I don't know what you would call them, the tall tales about him, maybe? I mean, kind of Paul Bunyan-esque about Carlos. One of them was the fact that you guys do these ISO squats where you squat down on one leg. Explain, how does that work?
Yeah, you just isolate one leg. You kind of prop your other leg up on a bench, and we've got supported squat bars that you're not going to hurt yourself doing it, or the bar's not going to fall off of you. And he puts up some amazing numbers off one leg, much less two.
And you have to hold it, correct, for 10 seconds.
You hold it down on your basically
in the squat position.
Basically almost touching your bend knee almost to the ground.
Almost to the ground, and the rumor is 600.
Yeah, that's a that's a legitimate
600 pounds on one leg. And, yes, I know, if you could see the audience right now in the room, the faces, and not only that, but I heard that your team is so competitive that
Jackie Harville had to get over there and do it.
Exactly. Jackie Harville said, anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. And he went over there and did the same exact thing. You got to love the competitive nature of the guys. Sometimes Coach Fodio has to stop them. There's a weight limit. You get to the point where you don't want them hurting themselves. So, but that's what you want. You want guys that want to compete and always outdo the other one, and that's fun to watch. You want a team full of guys that try to do that. These are guys you've recruited, and get into that recruiting talk right now because I know that it really will ramp up in the next couple of months leading up to signing day. I know you guys can't talk of any names, of course, and we're not going to go down that road, but just overall the recruiting class right now that's shaping up, it seems like everything is really falling in line for you guys. Well, what we have, and again, I can't mention names, but what we have committed is exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for playmakers at the skill position, and we're looking for big offense and defensive linemen. And we're in a position right now where, if we hold some of these commits and get some of these guys that we're talking about that may transfer, and we've got a couple guys on campus that have already transferred that we'll announce in our signing class that are sitting out their year, that we're excited about, and just
that's what's going to be the lifeblood of this program, is continued great success recruiting. And, we hired a great staff here at UCA that can coach some really good football, but I'll tell you, all 10 of those guys can really recruit as well. And it takes a tireless effort to be, to go get great recruits, because you have to spend a lot of time on young kids to get them to want to come be a part of your program. And we feel like if we can get them on campus here in Conway and at UCA, it speaks for itself. With our administration, all the way from President Davis to Dr. Teague on down to our coaching staff, the beauty of Conway and the beauty of our campus and just our facilities, we feel like we've got a good shot at getting them if we can get them here to Conway.
All right, let's do a quick 2-minute drill. Off season coming up, vacation destination. Where do you go? Where's your go-to?
Well, beach usually. I think Jessica and I have talked about we may try to go on a cruise this year.
Okay, very nice. Pregame meal. Do you eat before the games, or is it?
It depends. It depends. Usually I do eat a little something, and usually it's some type of chicken breast, and then I'll eat about half of it.
Okay. Now, next one. If you could only choose one of these 3 different Ironman competition parts, would you run a marathon, bike 112 miles, or swim 2.4 miles? You got to pick one.
Swim.
Oh, my gosh.
Swim 2.4. Yeah.
Swim 2.4. That's a long 2.4. Sports hero growing up.
Probably Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Yeah,
all right.
He's still playing, which is amazing.
That is pretty. You're still growing up, so it still works. Favorite holiday of the year as we get to the holiday season? Final question.
I enjoy the Christmas time.
Christmas time. Well, we enjoyed this time with you, Coach. How about that? Final coaches show of the season at Pizza Ranch in Conway for head coach Nathan Brown. Time is winding down. Hey, big thanks to Patrick and Jennifer. Once again, 955 Covington, just off Dave Ward and just off I-40. Come check out Pizza Ranch in Conway. Thank you so much, Coach. Best of luck, and we look forward to seeing you in Abilene. I know it's going to be a long bus ride, so we'll see you there.
Can't wait for it.
All right. Thanks to everybody for coming out this year. And, again, thanks to Pizza Ranch in Conway. This has been the Nathan Brown Show right here.